Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AtlasClear's a channel setting out to create the basically most efficient platform for trading, clearing, settlement, and banking. Joining us to give us a high-level overview of the investor deck today, we have Chief Business Development Officer Craig and Chief Strategy Officer John joining us as always. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kyle.
for having us, Kyle.
Always a pleasure to get you guys back on. So I'm going to hand this over to Craig as he's going to be walking us through the investor deck. So I'll let you kind of kick this off.
Sure. Greatly appreciate the time. Greatly appreciate everyone that's tuning in. We're excited about the opportunity that's in front of us as we've been trying to get across to the street and the market and the investors. We have a unique opportunity in front of us with what we've acquired and what we're looking to acquire and what we're building. And hopefully this deck helps to summarize not only what we're doing as a company, but the opportunity in front of us. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. For any of our attorneys that may be dialing in right now or listening, my wife is an attorney as well. So here's the disclaimer page. I'm not going to walk you through it, but safe to say we've got plenty of attorneys that have added to it, so we should be good there. We'll be able to make this deck available to anyone that's interested to dig in further. Just want to make sure we cover our bases for legal there. So what we've put together with AtlasClear, it's been a culmination over a period of decades as far as the thought process of what we've tried to put together and what we have accomplished at this point. At the close, as we may have talked about previously, we recently closed through a SPAC process. Okay. On February 9th, a company called Quantum FinTech Acquisition Corp closed to acquire a company called AtlasClear Inc. As of February 9th. On February 12th, AtlasClear Holdings began trading on the New York Stock Exchange Amex under ATCH. And at the close, what we actually acquired were some key pieces. The primary piece being, as it shows on this slide, a company called Wilson Davis and Company. Wilson Davis and Company has a unique licensing set. They are what is considered a correspondent clearing firm. It's something that most of us touch on a daily basis in our regular lives. If you're trading through your online trading platforms or even your 401ks or whatever it may be, at the end of the day, there has to be a correspondent clearing firm that are holding those security assets for whatever firm you're operating through. Wilson Davis is one of those firms that has the full licensing set and membership at NSCC DTC. It's a very limited field that are out there. Wilson Davis itself is a 56-year-old firm. It's clean, it's profitable, it can custody, clear, and settle any financial asset, and we feel fortunate to have finally secured it and have it under the umbrella of AtlasClear Holdings. The next acquisition that we will be making is a company called Commercial Bancorp. It operates in Pine Bluffs, Wyoming as Farmers State Bank. It is a full Fed member bank. It's over a 100-year-old charter. Again, clean, profitable, small bank, but the synergies that we can do with that are incredible. It'll allow us to provide additional business lines of banking service to ultimately our institutional client base. It'll also allow us additional deposit sweeps and extension of credit out into Wilson Davis, out to our correspondents. It just creates a tremendous internal ecosystem with the combination of the clearing firm for ultimately our client base that we're targeting. Now, it should be noted, as it says there, acquisition to come. Essentially, right now we are beginning the Fed approval process. We have to go successfully through the Fed approval process. We do not have the approval yet from the Fed to acquire Commercial Bancorp. However, we have owned banks in the past. We have a very strong management team. We ultimately believe we will be successful there, but we do not have that yet, but we're beginning that process now. And then the third leg is the prime brokerage technology, and we'll get to the technology pages later in the deck. But suffice to say, we've been in the business of developing technology for what we consider the plumbing of markets. How do you custody, clear, and settle a financial transaction? And how do you successfully regulate it, be in compliance with regulation, and then also create efficiencies for our clients so we make it better, faster, cheaper, if you want to look at it that way. I do hate to use the word cheap because we don't feel that we are cheap, but ultimately that summarizes what we're looking to do. Create a full one-stop solution internal platform with AtlasClear Holdings to provide to a market that we're going to talk about in a few minutes that we feel is orphaned, but we're really excited about the opportunity in front of us, and so that's what we're building. The things that people don't recognize on a daily basis, but they touch on a daily basis. So the current state of the financial services market, and this is the reason we're really excited about the opportunity, is that the larger clearing firms have made decisions that they really want to only focus on the larger brokerage firms, hedge funds as their clients. So if you think of the larger clearing firms, it's the ones that are like Pershing or Fidelity or Charles Schwab, right? They've made a decision that they really want to primarily focus on the larger institution market. So if you're a small to mid-sized broker-dealer, bank, hedge fund, you name it, you're kind of being orphaned in the sense that you can't get those true direct clearing institutional services. They find it difficult to find the right technologies to manage their client portfolios. If you're offshore and you're a non-US firm, it's incredibly difficult to get US-based asset services. They have a number of barriers to get into actually the clearing firms that would allow them to operate in US-based assets. And so, you could take one more leg up on that, and the microcap space, right, and the private placement memorandum space that has for so long been a big driver of the US capital markets, they really don't have any place to go because a lot of the larger firms don't want to deal with those. So ultimately what that leads to them is poor returns, higher costs, higher cash settlement costs. They have more attrition from their client base, and basically lower scale across all product segments. It just creates a more difficult environment for them. So that's the current state of the market. What AtlasClear presents is an open field for them, as it states here. As you can see there, and it notes this, and I will tell you that number that it says up there, estimated total revenue of execution, clearing, and prime services industry is 159 billion. That is dated by about a year, but you get the idea. It's a huge marketplace. So what are the target clients for us? Target clients for us are the small and medium-sized banks and brokerage firms, hedge funds, family offices, like I talked about previously, pension plans. The correspondent firms in 2024, everyone knows the Pershings, which is BNY Mellon, Fidelity, Apex. They focus their clearing services on the larger institutions, as I previously stated. So if you're a small or medium-sized institution, you really have limited options. And what that creates is the minimums at the larger firms. So if you're going to sign a clearing arrangement with a Fidelity, they put a minimum into the actual contract itself that you're responsible for from a revenue standpoint. And if you don't meet those minimums, there are repercussions to that. They just can't meet those minimums in order to get the full clearing suite. That creates a situation where those institutions, those small institutions, have to go to medium or larger institutions that do have those direct clearing relationships with the large firms, and they have to do what's called piggybacking off of them, meaning they sign an agreement with the mid-sized institution whereby they'll get access into the larger institution. But what does that do? That cuts down on their margins, their actual ability to make revenues, their ability to actually efficiently manage their clients' portfolios. And so they go through multiple intermediaries to get a complete clearing solution, and it's just really creates a very, very difficult environment for them. We think we are the solution for that. We can go after that small and mid-sized market that's been orphaned and is wide open with the licensing set that we've acquired through Wilson Davis, and the technology we're going to inlay and create a one-stop solution for these small institutions that really have been orphaned. On this page, it's called the AtlasClear Solution. I'm not going to get you caught up in all the different things that you can see the red X's and the check marks. Okay, everyone, if you look down the left side of the panel, you'll see BNY Mellon, Pershing, which is the largest clearing institution in the world. You've got Fidelity, Velocity, Axos. Okay, and then at the bottom, you see AtlasClear. The four institutions above AtlasClear are all recognized and good institutions. That's not to say they couldn't provide everything that's on this list, but when you look across, what this chart is really telling you is that BNY Mellon, Pershing offering core to overall business. That's the first column, and it has a red X. Okay, BNY Mellon, Pershing could offer the core to the business line, to the small institutions that we're looking at, but they're choosing not to. Okay, they don't offer these services. So that's all this is saying, is that in the target audience or the target market that we're looking at, the small and medium-sized institutions, these institutions in some situations will offer these services to them, and in other situations they're choosing not to. Where if you go across our bottom line, we have check marks across the board. We're going to offer all of these solutions, all of those suites of products to that target market, which is that small institution space. So we think this is a powerful slide, but it shouldn't get too complicated. It's just saying that we're going to offer a one-stop solution for our target client base. People invest in companies for one, obviously the opportunity, in the market, but a lot of it and often is who's behind it. What's the management behind it? Who's going to drive the engine? You can have the greatest idea in the world, the greatest opportunity in the world, and if you don't have people behind it that know how to build it, properly operate it, and monetize it, then the opportunity is lost. So when we look at our actual leadership team, and in particular the board of directors, we're very excited. We have had people mention to us over the last month or two, especially because of the performance of the stock, which quite frankly is not necessarily all on us. It's not a reflection of the company. It's a reflection of a number of things, not the least of which is we're coming out of a SPAC, and SPAC has got a lot of cholesterol in it. But we're not worried about where the stock price is today because of the board and what we think we're going to be doing going forward, and we're confident of. We believe the performance will be there. But when you look at the actual board itself, we've got leaders across the industry that have not only built companies, run some of the largest companies in the world in this space, but really, really brought shareholder value. So start off with Bob McBay, who's our chairman and CEO of AtlasClear. He's currently the CEO of Wilson Davis, which is the company we just acquired. He was the former CEO of Penson United Kingdom and Penson Canada. He's also was EVP and Director of Operations at Southwest Securities. He is a tremendous operator of clearing firms. He's been doing it for 30 plus years. We're fortunate to have him as a teammate and a partner. John Shively, who is also on the call and has been on a number of these videos and will continue. He's our Chief Strategic Officer. He is a director as well. He was a co-founder and vice chair and director of Andrew Bank and Andrew Financial. He formerly was a president and CEO of NextTrade. He had started a company called Matchbook FX, where he was the CEO, which could be argued was his first online spot currency trading platform in the world back in the late 90s. He has done a wonderful job in a number of things, but at the core of what he does is he is an expert in market structure and the plumbing of how markets work. And he is a real leader for us. You can see I'm there. I've operated in various capacities. I started off in the brokerage industry 30 years ago, managing private client assets, worked up through various levels of management and senior management, executive management. I've been a partner of John's for decades, probably longer than he'd like to claim. But my focus has always been on supporting and promoting the idea of the business platforms that we have that we really think make a difference in the marketplace. So I'm excited to be a part of this team. Steve Carlson, another director. He co-founder of Pi Capital, former president of International FC Stone, global head of emerging markets for Lehman Brothers. Wonderful, wonderful addition. Again, guy that's been there, done it, did it. Tom Hammond, could go on for a long time with Tom Hammond. Suffice to say that in the clearing settlement space of this world, he was formerly John's actual mentor. He is one of the foremost minds in the world. Former president of ICE Clearing, where he retired in 2017. He was third in charge of the NYC when he retired. Former director of the Futures Industry Association, former president of the Trade Clearing Corporation. The accolades go on for him. So fortunate to have him as part of the team. Sanda Patel, one of our directors as well, former general counsel at WellCare, which they sold to the Soros funds and IPO'd, founder and CEO of Orion Group. He was also a co-founding shareholder and director of Andrew Bank. A wonderful addition to the team. And then finally, we also have Jim Tabacchi. And I don't mean finally in the sense that, oh, we finally got to him. It's just a matter of he's last on the list here, but certainly not last in the hierarchy. He's the CEO of South Street Securities. One of the critical things that you'll see on there, if you can see it, the bullet points, is that he is actually a member of the board of directors of DTC, which is actually the institution that Wilson Davis has the full licensing set with. He actually sits on the board. He's serving a 5-year term that began in 2021. Very fortunate to have him a part of this. He was the former treasurer at Citigroup. Just a wonderful addition. He agreed to join this team and join this opportunity because he can see that we're coming in to fill a vacuum and a void in the market in that small institution space, provide service to really help with the efficiencies of the markets. So we're excited about the opportunity in front of us, especially with the leadership of this board. This is actually our technology page. I'm not going to get you caught up in the minutia. What I want you to derive from this is that at the end of the day, we have a clearing firm with a full licensing set to custody, clear, and settle any financial asset. We've got a bank that's under contract to acquire to tie in, provided we get the proper Fed approval, into the actual clearing firm, layered with technology, all of these different technologies to create efficiencies for the custody, clearing, settlement of not only stocks, bonds, mutual funds, but FX, options. You can go down the list. PackSquare, some code that we've recently been buying and acquiring through a contract. It is cloud-based. It will help to serve a backbone of our clearing firm with Wilson Davis. We've got other technologies that will help us develop an FX component of our business. But at the end of the day, this is a technology suite that it will allow us to create a full one-stop solution with what we believe to be world-class technology to provide to this small institution space that absolutely cannot get this at this point in time. There may be one-offs here or there, but the reality is they just can't get access into the large institutions, so they have to go through multiple intermediaries and piggybacking, as we discussed before. We're very excited about this. One thing I'll talk about this page real quickly before we head on is that this particular page contained on there is over $20 to $25 million worth of technology that's contained underneath our umbrella. When you compare that to what the stock price is today and just the value that's in this technology set alone, probably people will get to their own conclusion that we're probably a little bit undervalued. I'll speak to that for, I'll say that and I'll leave it at that. So this is one more page on the technology, and in particular in PackSquare, which we feel very fortunate to have a relationship with, and one that we're helping to develop, buying code from them. It's going to provide back office clearing solutions. Again, these are things that people don't necessarily think about investors, but these are key components of any clearing firm. All cloud-based. If you're going to operate a clearing firm or any institution, you have to have risk management protocols and platforms. They have a world-class suite of risk management code that we'll be utilizing. We've also got, and I do want to put a caveat on this and a disclaimer, they do have a crypto trading platform that's available. Now, we believe in crypto and in particular DLT, which is distributed ledger technology, which is the technology of which crypto is built on. But I will tell you that we will not operate or be clearing and settling and holding crypto until such time as we get the proper regulatory guidance from the SEC and it's full steam ahead. So we won't put the cart before the horse. But we did want to note that we do think of where the future is going in technology, and DLT is a backbone of where we think things are going. And once we get the proper regulatory guidance, we'll be in a position to move quickly to begin to operate in that space. And again, something that's really exciting that PackSquare has been developing is the AI robo-advisory and wealth management code. And everyone thinks about AI at this point in time. Everyone's heard robo-advisory. They have a really, really cutting-edge development going on right now on the AI robo-advisory and wealth management side that we think will help create more efficiencies, create some competitive edges for us, and that code can be available to us once fully developed. But we're really excited, and obviously that's a buzzword right now with AI, and we want to be a part of that. So we're excited about our relationship with PackSquare and what we can do going forward with them. Market comparables. So we recently put out our 10K. It went out earlier this week. When this was developed, this deck, the financials weren't out, so we couldn't get into the specifics, typical balance sheet stuff. But what we could do is we could go in and look at market comparables to say, okay, our stock currently is trading at whatever it is today. I'm not looking at it today, but it's significantly undervalued, we believe. What we did is we looked at some of our competitors that'll be in the space, and you can see them on the right-hand side. You can see going down the list. There's Sonex Group, there's Interactive Brokers, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with, and then there's also Hilltop Holdings. Okay, and we looked at them and we said, okay, what's a price comparison to show some value? And so if you take a look at their assets under management for those three companies, and then you take their stock price compared to their assets under management, that is what is on the left side of this page where it says price to AUM. So you can see on Interactive Brokers, if you look at IBKR, it says AUM ratio 12.82%. So the comparison is if we were trading at 12.82% of our actual assets under management, Wilson Davis has over $1 billion in assets under management. If we did the same comparable and used that same multiple, we would be at $128 million market value or market cap. I think we're under 20 right now. Actually, when this was actually printed, you can see that we were 1.67% times our assets under management, and so that gave us a market cap of 16.7 million. Okay, but if we just use comparables from some of our competitors, and even we're in the range, let's just say of 10% of our assets under management, which is still conservative, we would be trading with a $100 million market cap. So when you look at that, we believe internally that there's true value in this stock, in the equity currently. We're excited about the opportunity in front of us. We don't reappraise our house every day. We certainly don't reappraise our stock price every day. We don't believe that where it is today, next week, or even 2 weeks from now is reflective of where we think it's three months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line. We think there's tremendous value there. We wanted to highlight this slide to say why we believe one of the metrics shows that we're severely undervalued. But at the end of the day, we're excited about where we're going in the future. So just to wrap it up, we are going to be growing organically, targeting that small institution space. I'll be remiss if I don't mention that we are going to be looking at acquisitions to help grow that are accretive. We highlighted the experienced management team. I think, quite frankly, for the size of the company, some people might think we're overloaded on real experience with people that have done it and been successful at the highest levels. We're very fortunate to have this board. Underserved market to capture. I think we highlighted that. The small institution space has been just orphaned for these clearing services. Obviously, with the management team and with Wilson Davis itself, it's a successful industry track record. And then the outlook is very, very exciting for us. We see a world of opportunity in front of us, both organically and through acquisition over the next, several years. And we're excited about the ability to deliver to the marketplace that's been orphaned and deliver shareholder value. So, Kyle, I want to thank you for your time today and really appreciate these opportunities to get the word out on AtlasClear Holdings and truly the opportunity in front of us.
On that note, we'll pass it off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think and consider subscribing because as news and catalyst hit the wire, of course, we're going to bring it to you here. But on that note, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.